have with us today our fund manager from the equities team, Sahil Shah. Thank you, Sahil, for joining us today.
Well, thanks, Shikha, for having me here.
So, Sahil, today's conversation is very interesting. And let me start off with sharing a little bit about my recent travels. So, I've been traveling of late to different cities in India, and I have noticed that the green color number plates are rising. So, of course, I'm referring to the electric vehicles. It's very fascinating as well as heartening to see the number of people that are adopting sustainable choices, especially for commuting. And of course, we are aware that across the world, governments have placed special importance on electric vehicles, especially because it helps in reducing emissions. And India as well, our government has placed special emphasis in this space. So, since it's a recent phenomena in India, Sahil, we'd like to understand from you, how has this evolved in India? How has this space played out in the last couple of years?
I think the EV revolution, and I would say the revolution is yet to begin, but at least the EV adoption, which is at a very nascent stage, I think it started because of government push, especially on the policy side, that came about especially after 2010. So new policies, which is basically your national mobility mission, those all things came into the picture. The FAME policy was introduced. Now the FAME policy has been reduced or it has been out, but still a lot of states, a lot of support from the central government has led to the EV penetration that we are seeing in India, what it is today. So I think it has to do with the government push, because the cost of ownership of electric vehicles to start with is on a much higher side. So it had to be led by the government, and recently, if we talk about the components of electric vehicles and battery being one of the largest component, the PLI scheme introduction is also kind of supporting the push towards the electric vehicles.
So that's very interesting to know, Sahil, but of course due credit to all the initiatives, but the penetration in India is fairly low even now, about 1.5% or even under that currently. Absolutely. Versus its Asian average is about 17%. So why do you think the penetration is so low, and what can lead to its growth?
So I think if you look at the way EVs have evolved, probably somewhere in 2015-16, we had just 1 lakh electric vehicles in India. Today we are at 10 lakhs or almost 1 million. That is 10x jump that we have seen in last 8 years. And it is expected that because of the government initiatives, this number can again rise by another 10x from where it is today. A lot of this penetration would happen on the two-wheeler side. That is what is expected. On the bus side and on the commercial vehicle side. So these are the three major areas where I think a lot of penetration would happen on the EV side.
Of course. So on that optimistic note, of course, we're talking about electric vehicles, but for all of us, for all our viewers as well, electric vehicles, as we understand, there are multiple other beneficiaries also of this space. The entire value chain is quite large, right, from mining to the original equipment manufacturers, OEMs that we are speaking about, and there are various other checkpoints where a lot of other beneficiaries and multiple other opportunities can come up for investing. So can you help us understand the entire EV ecosystem?
So from the forecast that are available on how big the EV value ecosystem can be, it is somewhere around $100 billion, right? And that's a very big number. Now, whether that will be achieved in 2030 or it will be 2040, we will come to know as the years go by. But the way it has picked up, it appears that the penetration is going at a steady and a good pace. Now, if I have to talk about the ecosystem within the electric vehicles, obviously there will be OEMs and there will be auto component suppliers, as we have in the engine or the ICE vehicle side of the business. Here, battery is a very big component. So the people there will be auto component companies who would be supplying chargers for charging the battery. There will be auto component companies, or there will be battery manufacturers who will be supplying batteries, and all of this has been supported by the government. So that is how it is kind of shaping up.
So thank you for that, Sahil, for your deep insights into the entire value chain. Of course, it is also being said that this entire value chain is a $100 billion opportunity by the end of this decade. So thank you for being so optimistic about it. And but there are several challenges also that I understand, and our viewers would also like to know. And what are the countermeasures that one can take to ensure that this space in India, the electric vehicle space in India, grows the way it has grown across the globe?
Sure. So I think the two biggest challenges which are there for penetration of electric vehicle, one is the charging infrastructure, and the second is the total cost of ownership, or the cost of, or the initial cost of ownership of the vehicle. Now, the initial cost of ownership of the vehicle is also a function of the battery cost, which is almost 30-40% of the vehicle cost. Now, this battery cost has over a period of time come down because the economies of scale has played out. As the production base increases, the cost of producing battery or lithium cells has also come down. I expect that as and when more countries, and even within India, as we adopt more, go more towards electric vehicles, the cost of production of batteries should be coming down, and that should reduce the total cost of ownership of electric vehicles, which is today, I would say, on a higher side as compared to the normal or the ICE vehicles that we are talking about. The second is the battery infra, or sorry, the charging infra that we are talking about. And it has been a chicken and egg situation, I would say, because if you don't have vehicles on the road, right, then you don't, people are not going to be upfront and putting up the charging infrastructure. And if you don't have charging infrastructure, people are not going to buy electric vehicles. So it's more like a chicken and egg. And I think with government measures that are being introduced, I think this chicken and egg situation can be broken down. And especially when government is incentivizing or announcing some policy measures, which is where the states are putting their, I would say, buses or the state transportation buses, where they are saying that we want to electrify those buses, and there are good targets that they are talking about. So as and when more adoption of electric vehicle happens, initially because of the government push, the charging infrastructure will also get created. And that is how we will kind of come out of these challenges.
Thank you very much, Sahil. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Shikha.
So this was a very interesting conversation, and I hope it has got all of us upbeat about this new and exciting investing opportunity, which is electric vehicles. Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.